Hello friends, it's Thursday. I'm starting this vlog. This is for the I always say Jante. I think it's supposed to be JANTE'S INFERNO. So I posted my TBR for this already, which I will link for you in case you missed it. But I did go ahead and already start this readathon because it started on the 6th, I think. And so I picked up The Shining that day. It is now the 8th, and I have finished The Shining. I'm giving it 3 stars. It was fine. I don't know. I don't think Stephen King is really an author for me, but The Shining is essentially this horror book that's set in Colorado, and it follows his family, which is the Torrances, and it's Jack, his wife Wendy, and his son Danny. Jack has been fired from his job in Vermont, I think. At the beginning of the book, he gets fired, or before the book starts, really. He gets fired. He was a teacher, and he had, like, an outburst at school. He also has, like, an abusive history with his family. He was an alcoholic, and now he doesn't drink anymore, and they decide that they are going to move to Colorado to take this job at the Overlook Hotel, where Jack is going to be the like winter off-season manager, custodian of the house or whatever, or the hotel. So they're doing that. When they arrive, Danny has this weird ability to like not see ghosts at first, but they call it the Shining. So he can hear people's thoughts. He can like sort of see the future a little bit. He gets like flashes of things that may or may not happen, and that's like the premise. And then when they get there, they meet this guy Dick Houlihan, I can't remember his name, who is the chef in the season, but he is showing the Torrances around. He realizes that Danny has a Shining. He talks to Danny about it and warns Danny about certain things that are going to happen in this hotel that aren't real. He doesn't have anything to worry about, but basically is like, you're going to be able to see these things because you have the Shining. And he's explaining it to him. And then as the book goes along, Danny starts seeing things, and then something is going on with the hotel and the things in it, for lack of a better word. I didn't love this book. I liked parts of it. I thought it was really interesting, but once again, Stephen King just doesn't hit for me. I don't know what it is about his writing style. I know part of it is that he's pretty racist and sexist in his writing, and people say that like he's doing that because it's horror, but I don't like it. So for me, this book didn't hit. I just didn't like it. The next book that I'm going to pick up, because that fulfilled the first 2 circles of hell. One of them is to read like a horror book, and the other one was to read a book set in a cold climate. So check and check. Now I'm going to start reading Father Mine, which is the book 6.5, I think, in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. This is going to fill the paranormal prompt or the vampire prompt because it's a vampire romance series. This book is pretty short. It's 91 pages, so I'm pretty confident I can tick it off either today or tomorrow, and then I will start listening to an audiobook for the next book that I have to read. I can't remember off the top of my head what that is, but I will give you updates as I go along. But yes, this is the vlog. We're starting off sort of strong because I finished a book, but also not the strongest because I didn't love the book. So I'm disappointed too because I really wanted to like The Shining. Like, it was one of the Stephen King books that I've always heard about. People love it. People say it's his masterpiece. I don't know. I thought it was fine. So that's my official review of The Shining. That's my start to this vlog, and I will let you know when I have updates on Father Mine. Hello, happy Super Bowl Sunday to all who celebrate. We are actually having some people over here, so we have to go to the store and get stuff for that. But I did just want to check in really quick because I finished Father Mine. I'm giving it 2 stars. I'm just not into this series anymore. So this is a like 90-page novella, and it follows characters that you saw their love story earlier. They're gonna have a baby, so you're watching them. One of the characters has like reverted to his old self. Instead of being a good husband, partner, whatever, he is like afraid of fatherhood, so he's just like being really shitty, and it's about him trying to like figure it out again. There are a lot of things that bother me about this series, but yeah, I'm not into it anymore, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut my losses, unfortunately. But 90 pages, I did read it in like an evening. It honestly probably took me like a little over an hour, because it's not like I was able to just like skim through it and read it. So we're done with that. I have started Game of Thrones as an audiobook. So I have the physical book. I'm like 3 chapters in. This is like a 35-hour audiobook. You guys, I don't know when I'm gonna have time to finish everything on this TBR. I think I might fail this readathon as well, but you know, I'm trying. I'm working my way through. And then I think I'm gonna also pick up We Came, We Saw, We Left physically while I'm listening to Game of Thrones, because that's a shorter book, and I think if I can get through that, I won't be completing the prompts in order, but I'll at least be starting the books in order, and I'm gonna just go for it and hope for the best. But I will not be doing any of that today because, again, it is the Super Bowl. I didn't really read much yesterday. I read a little bit of Game of Thrones yesterday. We ended up going to Nate Bargatze, who's a comedian. I found him on TikTok, but he did a show in Kansas City at the T-Mobile Center, and so we went with my sister and my brother-in-law, and that was super fun. I was like exhausted yesterday though. I think we got back at like 11:30 and I was gonna read in bed and I fell asleep, so not sure why. And I like slept until like 10 this morning too. Like I got some good sleep last night. But yes, so I will let you know when I have more updates. So far in Game of Thrones, my only real like thoughts are that it seems like there's a lot of characters. It's gonna be set up for most of this book, I think, just because of how many characters there are. It's nice that I haven't seen the show, but I've like heard people talk about the show. So like I'd heard of Daenerys before. I've heard of Jon Snow. I've heard of the Starks. I actually know a spoiler about Jon Snow, so oops, I don't know when that's gonna come into play, but I know something about him. But yeah, I'm not like hating it by any means, but I'm confused. I'm conflicted, I guess, at this point, because I know that George R.R. Martin likely will not finish this series. And so I'm trying to decide, I guess I'm going to use this first book to sort of decide if I want to read the other books that are out, or if I want to just watch the show and give up on the books and just not really dedicate any more time to it. That's sort of what I'm sort of parsing out. Because I did the same thing with The Name of the Wind. I read that book. I enjoyed that book, but I found out that the third book likely will never be released. And so I never read the second book. I don't really care to. I didn't like it enough to want to read the second book without the promise of a third. So that's sort of what I'm going into Game of Thrones. That's like the mindset I'm going into it with. So feel free to leave your vote down below if you think I should read the other books that are out, if it's like really worth it, or if you think I should just like cut my losses until maybe a later date when the new books are released. I don't know. So that's my thought. I'm going to run to the store to get stuff to make dips for the Super Bowl, and I will probably catch up with you tomorrow. So wish the Chiefs luck. We'll see. Hello, it is now Monday. I'm home from work, and I wanted to give a quick blog update. So I'm still reading Game of Thrones. I'm like not even 20% of the way into it. It's a really long book. But my mother-in-law sent a package, which is very fun, with a bunch of like fake nails. So she got me these, which are like gold. Some are gold and then they have like gold and white, which is really pretty. She also sent me these like floral ones, which is fun. These St. Patrick's Day ones, which are super fun. And then these, which are pretty long. So I don't know when I would wear these. I would have to wear these when I was like on vacation probably and not working, because I have a hard time typing with long nails. That's what I learned when I had the black nails that I had that I got for New Year's. They were so long that like it was very difficult I couldn't type anything basically. I'm just not quite used to that. But these have like silver French tips, and then also just a plain green, which is very pretty. She also sent me this, which is called Plot Twist, which is a bunch of cards that you scratch it off and it has a book recommendation, but on the card it says like what genre it is, and then why it was chosen, the page count, the audiobook length, the date published, or the year published, whether or not it's part of a series, and then like how it feels. This one says Icebound Drama. So I thought it'd be fun to try to guess what some of these are gonna be, but also I don't know, because if I'm wrong, I would want to read the book recommendation right away. Although I did look at this one. So this one's contemporary literary fiction, and it's 430 pages, 13-hour audiobook, published in 2017. It's part of a series, and the book feel is Icebound Drama. And the description says, this book was chosen for its remarkable depiction of community dynamics and emotional depth. It's not just a book about sports, it's a book that makes you feel deeply. That's why it's on the list. I think this is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. So I don't know. I kind of want to look, but then if it's not that, I don't know. Should I check? I'm going to check. Hold on. It was Beartown, so I feel very accomplished. And then I think it's got a QR code to like either look it up on Goodreads. I don't know what the QR code is for actually, but that's what she got me. Isn't that cute? So I've already read Beartown. I'll try to remember to link the vlog that I read it in, or not. Did I read it for a vlog? I might have read it for Spookoplathon. Or I might have just read it in October or November. I can't remember. So I'll try to link the video where I talk about it. But anyways, that's what she got me. Isn't that fun? So I might do a reading vlog where I like read some of the books on there. that I haven't read yet. Because I think I'm gonna have read some of these, right? Just based on the fact that I've read a lot of books in the past couple of years, and the majority of the books that I've read in the past couple of years have come out in the past couple of years. So, but yeah, I thought that was fun. Okay. I'm still reading Game of Thrones, and I will let you know when I have an update on it. I will say right now, I'm liking it fine. I guess I can, I don't know how to describe this book. So it's following like a bunch of different people. There's like the Starks and the Lannisters and the Targaryens. I don't know. But everybody, from my understanding of the series, it hasn't gotten to this point yet, but they're all like trying to determine, it's like a power struggle, right? So there's all sorts of like right now political alliances being laid with different people trying to marry their kids to someone in another family to like solidify a union and an alliance between neighboring kingdoms, if you will. So I mentioned this before. I don't know if I'm going to finish this series or if I'm just going to read the first one and then call it quits. Because I'm liking it, but it's not like spectacularly or like blowing me away, and I'm not like super hooked as of right now. So anyways, that's my update on Game of Thrones. This readathon ends on Friday, so I'm probably going to go through Friday night, and you're probably going to see this either Monday or the Thursday after the readathon ended, just depending on what else I have going up. But that's where I'm at right now. So I'll catch you with another update when I have one. Hello, it's now Monday. So this readathon ended on Friday. I was gonna carry it through the weekend to see if I could finish anything else, but I'm still reading Game of Thrones. I did want to let you know that I did try to read the Reese Witherspoon book that I was going to read. I don't like that you can see me in the background. Hold on. I did try to read the Reese Witherspoon book that I said I was going to read, the Whiskey in a Teacup. Honestly, she released that book right around the time that she released like a homewares brand, I think. And a lot of the book is, at least the first like 20%, which is all I got through, it seems to be pretty much promoting her brand, which is fine if that's what she wants to do, but I didn't really care about reading it. It wasn't as much of a memoir about her life as it was about like her style currently and how that impacts her brand, which is, again, fine. It's just not what I was looking for, so I DNF'd that one. I did not read We Came, We Saw, We Left, and I did not read anything to like Get Out of Hell. Because that would have been the last prompt anyways. So I am like 65% of the way through Game of Thrones. It's very slow going for me. I feel like this is the kind of book that like if I was really in the mood for it, I could like really devour it. But because I'm not super in the mood for it, I'm having to take a lot of breaks because it's like a 30-hour audiobook and I don't just want to sit and listen to it. So I've listened to snippets, bits and pieces here and there. I've listened to a couple of audiobooks in between. I don't know. So this readathon, again, was a little bit of a fail. I knew that this was going to be a rough one, though, because I put The Shining and Game of Thrones on here, which are two very long books. But I am pretty pleased with what I read for this readathon. So I read The Shining by Stephen King, and I think I gave it 3 stars. I read Love or Mine by J.R. Ward, and I gave it 2 stars. And then I started Game of Thrones, and I DNF'd the Reese Witherspoon book. And I think that's all that I had to read. I think the only other book that I said I was going to read that I have not read yet is We Came, We Saw, We Left by Charles Whelan, which is the book about the family that takes a gap year together and they decide to drive around the country in an RV. And I still plan on reading that because I do still own that book. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to this point, leave a sword emoji in the comments down below for Game of Thrones. Hopefully I will finish it this month. I just did not finish it for this readathon. Let me know what you read, if you participated in this readathon, and if you got out of hell, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye! What are you doing? Are you just sitting on the back of a chair? Okay. All right.